You've already seen me draw Ash, the fire elemental, Mizu, the water girl, and Alize, who has the power of wind. For this character design, I'm not gonna make a lengthy intro. You're here to meet Roxanne, the earth elemental. Well, hello there, I'm Detroit. I'm with you again today to make yet another cute girl on the internet. Her name is Roxanne, or Rox as she is usually called. Get it? Rox? Because it's another word for stones and she's the earth elemental? Do I really have to spell it out for you? Anyway, as always, I'm starting this digital drawing with a good old sketch. You may notice something special today. I've drawn a box around the character. There's a specific reason for that, which I'll get into in a second, but first, please subscribe. This is the 4th drawing of this Elemental Girls series, and I plan on making a bunch more, so subscribing using the red button below will allow you to get notified whenever I do just that, draw some more. I also make a ton of videos drawing other stuff, digital or with ink, and even pencil sometimes according to my last video. While you're at it, please comment on which element you would like to see me draw in the form of a cute girl next time. For example, this episode was suggested by Pyborg in the comments of the last video, so thanks Pyborg, and now it's your turn to give me a suggestion. Back to the box I drew. I have a personal theory regarding the elements. It works well in my mind for at least the first 4 elements, which are the ones I already depicted: water, air, fire and earth. By the way, I'm really glad Earth was the suggestion I got because of it. You see, for me they each represent a number and or a basic shape. Water is round and is the number 1. There's one side to a circle and a circle easily represents a drop of water. Air is a movement, it's flowy, it's a line. It flows from A to B, which are 2 points. Fire is triangular and thus represents the number 3. As a fire goes up in tendrils and it's just a bunch of small triangles in a big one. And the 4th one, Earth, is a square. It's stable, heavy, with large sides, it's the number 4. I wanted to tell you all of that in Alize's video, but I also wanted to wait until I had Rox drawn. Let's look back on the shapes of the previous girls on the right side here. Mizu is in a circular puddle and is low on the ground, making a silhouette somewhat roundish. Alize is standing straight up, as if making a vertical line, and Ash is bent forward with her hands on her knees. The triangle should be pretty obvious. And so finally, the reason for the square box around Rox's sketch is to make sure that her silhouette and her pose, with the stones around, make a squarish shape. That is something that feels good. It's not really something that you see or anything, but I feel so good knowing that it's there, the little shape language I've thought of. As I'm getting to the inking, I'm now going to talk about Rox herself, as there's not much to say about the inking anyway. Rox was always the rebellious one amongst her siblings. Just like Alize became the mother figure over time, Rox was a bit of a brat. She has piercings and one side of her head is shaved. She's tomboyish and not as feminine as the others. I suppose that's because, like the earth, she's strong and not easy to put under control. I mean, earthquakes, right? Stone is so powerful and strong and it's the basis on which everything else stands, and Roxanne is just as headstrong as she looks. Back to her rebellious phases, I have to say that now she's calmed down a bit and dresses more conservatively than before, where she was always all in black, a bit gothic, with long-sleeved crop tops and torn jeans. Heavy boots as well, but I don't know how to draw heavy boots. At one point of her past, she even had a tendency to do some illegal stuff. I'm talking doing a bit of drugs, which is bad. I would even say she was a bit of a stoner. Okay, that was only for the pun. Never mind her yeah whatever attitude, Rox is just like her sisters. She's really sweet and compassionate deep inside, but also like the others, don't get into a fight with her. You wouldn't want a mountain to strike you down, or an earthquake to swallow you whole. I even saw her carve a tombstone out of thin air just for the fun of it once. Basically, Roxanne is the queen of mixed signals and emotions on a stone throne. Stone throne, that's kinda hard to say. Roxanne is also Queen of the Stone Age, but that's a band and not a very good pun. Now that you know a bit more about Roxanne, let's talk about the drawing itself. I've already explained why I wanted a pose with her sitting kind of in a square shape. I also wanted to include an element into the design a bit better, which is why I made a rock throne, or like a large thing to rest against. Now, while the pose is easy to imagine and to find references for, it's super hard to draw as it turns out. Before I recorded this one, I already made a full sketch of the same pose, but I ended up throwing it away because I was piling up mistakes on top of mistakes and that got really hard to fix. Having a leg on top of another changes their shapes, same for the arm that is pushed against the leg. It doesn't follow the natural curving of the body parts and I find it really hard to draw. In order to make it look good, I probably had to discard a bit of anatomy and proportions to the side, even though that's not a good idea in general. Same for the feet. I'm already bad with drawing feet and I've given up on making toes most of the time, but here you have the front foot that is like 3/4 forward and the back foot that is not quite entirely to the side. That's like a nightmare to me. Add to that the arm that needs to be a bit foreshortened. I'm not enjoying that one. I think the arm still looks a bit weird, but at least the hand attached to it has a pretty nice look for the angle I chose. Honestly, I don't know why I didn't choose an easier pose. In any case, I think it turned out okay. After the sketching and the line art, it's now time to color, and to realize that the line art is a bit too thick, but too late. Coloring time now. I changed the background to a neutral gray, allowing me to pick nice colors. I threw some colors in there randomly and then adjusted them slightly so that they were nice together. The process for coloring is the same as always. I'm blocking out the overall shape with dark gray, which I changed later to a sharp blue to see contrast better around the line art. Moving the color palette layer to the side, then it's the painfully slow and uninteresting process of coloring in each shape with the corresponding color on a different layer. Usually it's much faster because I select the inside of the line art, but this time I had so much free space between the lines that none of the shapes connected, so I did it the brute way. I did not think about the colors I chose too much, only the hair, because I wanted Roxanne to be blonde. I don't know why. I guess because she's the earth elemental, she could also include metals and like gold, like her hair. I'm not really sure about that though. It's not canon yet, okay? Because I don't know whether I'll decide to make a metal elemental at some point. So let's put the topic on hold, she's blonde and that's it. I didn't want her to have brown hair, even though her eyes are brown. Oh, that's it! She dyed her hair. Yeah, I definitely remember now. It was part of her rebellious phase. Now that's canon, forget the previous thing I said. My favorite way to shade cartoony drawings and character designs is by using a multiply layer with low opacity and a color that is not in the rest of the drawing. For Roxanne, I chose a dark green. From then, it's just erasing and making interesting shadow shapes. And if you look into it a lot, it doesn't always make sense and the light source is hard to define, but it's all consciously to make the drawing look interesting and to draw attention to the right places. After that is the time to create another few layers to add touches of details, like color to her cheeks or a slight texture to her blue jeans. If you remember what I said in the other elemental girl drawings, I also needed to have triangles somewhere in the character design, and at first I was content with just having the triangles on the pieces of rock, but that felt lazy. So I added another lazy thing and made the same pattern as on Mizu's outfit and put it on top of Rox's shirt. Here's the full drawing and the 4 girls together. Before you click away from the video, don't forget to like it and comment with the next element you want to see, the 5th sister. Also subscribe. As always, all of my drawings are on my Instagram at d3_sd and the link is in the description below, next to a lot of other links you should check out. That was D3 for the 4th Drawing a Cute Girl with Elemental Powers, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!